Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Cairns. This is a quick video about the Math for College Readiness class and the ALEX program. When you enter the course, you see the announcement page just like every other student, and the navigation menu is the same essentially. You have your menu up here with your lessons and assessments and gradebook and email and whatnot. The important thing to know is that the Math for College Readiness class is completed in an outside program called ALEX. You can access this program by going into your menu, then lessons, and it's going to pull up this screen. Be sure to read the getting started information, and this is going to explain the ALEX program. Basically, Math for College Readiness is broken up into 5 modules in segment 1 and 5 modules in segment 2. When you get into the ALEX program, there's some things that you're going to have to know about how to navigate that. This is the login information screen and the assessments. Everything in the entire course, the coursework is done in ALEX. When you submit your assignments, you submit them back in this program called Educator. So let me show you how that works. Okay, again, this is all the getting started. I'm going to bring you to the page where it has the link to get you into the program. This is, and I'm just skipping through this getting started stuff. This is very important that you do read through this step by step so that you know how to, things about academic integrity and all the stuff that applies in your other courses. I'm going to skip here to Module 1. Okay, so in your other courses, you might see where Module 1 has a whole list of assignments that you're turning in. But because everything is done in ALEX, essentially you have 3 assignments. You've got the ALEX Pi, which I'll show you in a moment, and then you have the test for the module, and then the discussion-based assessment or collaboration. The discussion-based assessments or collaboration is done in modules 1, 3, and 5 in segment 1, and then it's done again in 6, 8, and 10 in segment 2. This means that you can choose, you have the option of either doing a discussion-based assessment or a collaboration. I would say 99% of the students choose the discussion-based assessment versus the collaboration where you have to find another student to partner with to discuss the things that you learned in that module. Whereas if you just do a DBA, it's a quick phone call with me or a DBA through my virtual office. Okay, so this is the breakdown, how that works. And then this is what you need to pay attention to. Here's where you're going to click the link to get us into ALEX, which I'll show you in a moment. And then this tells you right here in step 1 how many topics you have to complete in order to continue on in the module. Now, each module has different number of topics. So for example, module 1 has 98 topics. You need to complete all of 98 topics to move on to the next module. In other modules, you only have to complete up to, as little as 80% of the topics. So let me show you, for example, in Module 2, it says you are encouraged but required to only complete 23 of the 28 topics. So there are 28 topics. If you complete 23 of them, then you're going to get an 80% for this module. If you complete more than 23, then you'll receive the appropriate grade for that number out of 28. If you complete all 28, then you'll receive 100% for this module. Now, in every module, you also have to take a test that corresponds to the material that you learned in that module. But as far as the number of topics, in Educator, in your Lessons tab right here, it's going to tell you exactly how many of those topics you have to complete. So if you are focused on, you need to get a good grade, you need to get 100% or an A in the course, you need to make sure that you're completing as many topics as possible. If you're up for a time crunch, this is especially true with seniors a lot of the times, you can pay attention to this number, but know that you'll get at most an 80% if you only complete 23 out of the 28 topics. If you do have more questions about this, then just let me know, but I wanted to point this out because not a lot of students take the time to read this part, and it's very important to know how the course actually works. Okay, so let's say you're ready to start Module 1 or Module 2. You clicked on this button, and it brings you into the ALEX program. Now, I have to assign you a login name and password for the ALEX program. So as soon as you fill out your Google Doc that says you're ready to be activated, I will then either email or text you those passwords and that login information. So if you've done the Google Doc, you can shoot me a text and say, hey, Ms. Cairns, I filled out the Google Doc form. I am ready to be activated. And then I will register you for ALEX and send you over your login information. Okay? And it's going to be a little bit different than what you use to log in to your virtual school. So let's say you've clicked on ALEX and you've logged in. The very first thing it's going to show you is actually a tutorial on how to use this program. I don't have that right here because I've already done that part as a student, so I've skipped over that. This next part is what is very, very important. Students are able to exempt out of those topics. Like for example, Module 1, it said there's 98 topics. If you don't want to have to complete all 98 topics, then you want to make sure that you do the very best you can on these 30 questions that they're going to ask you for this pretest, because it will automatically exempt you out of some of the topics based on how well you do in your pretest. Okay, so I'll say that again. It says right here you will now be asked up to 30 questions. So based on what you know already, you can be exempt out of topics. The more topics you're exempt out of, the less time it's going to take you to complete the course. You'll take one pretest for segment 1 and one pretest for segment 2. And you can't retake this pretest, so you need to make sure you do the very best you can in the beginning here. Okay. I'm going to I'm going to log in with my account real quick, just so you guys can see what the pie looks like, because that was in as a test student. So bear with me. You're not going to see all this. This is just for what I see. Okay. So let's say you log into the course. You're going to see this. This is the ALEX pie. Every module has its own portion of the pie. When you're underneath the module, it's going to tell you how many topics you have completed and how many you have remaining. So normally it would say 98 topics, and it would show you, what your pie looks like. So let me click on what my test student looks like, see if we can see that. Okay, it's not giving me the report because the student didn't complete the pretest yet. Okay, so anyway, so it'll tell you underneath each module how many topics you have and what topics. You can kind of skip around on some of the topics as you're working through the course, but they're not going to give you release topics until you've mastered other ones. Okay, so now once you've done the work in ALEX, if you've finished all of Module 1, then what you're going to do is you're going to go back over to the Educator program. You're going to go to your lessons, your assessments tab. And then if you've done all of your pie for Module 1, then you're going to submit your assignment for the ALEX pie. And you just need to say, I completed all 98 topics of Module 1. And then you submit that to me. And then it will come to me to say, okay, I look at your ALEX pie to make sure that you've completed all those topics, and then I give you that grade. When you complete a test, you're going to do the same exact thing. So I'm going to click on the Module 1 test, and whatever, you don't even have to, it's helpful if you type in, I completed the Module 1 test and I received 95% on it, or whatever grade you got. But I always have to go back into the ALEX program anyway and double check your grade for those assignments. So, so you're submitting most of the time up to 3 things. You're submitting the ALEX pie to tell me how many topics you've done in that module. You're submitting the ALEX test. You're actually, you're doing the work in the ALEX program, and then on the educator side, you're simply submitting the assignments to say that you've done that, that you've completed that task. Okay, so you're submitting the ALEX module, you're submitting the ALEX test, and then if there's a DBA that's associated with this module, you'll have either scheduled that or you've called me and we've talked about it, then you submit that as well. And then that's basically all you have for each of the modules. Once you get through all of that, then you've completed segment, your module 1, and then once you've completed all the modules, you completed segment 1. So it's very much work at your own pace. The course releases topics to you. If you get things right, then you only have to practice it a couple times. If you keep struggling with it, then it's going to keep presenting you with that topic until you're able to move forward. So it's very intuitive. It kind of takes what you know already and gives you topics to practice based on that. So, but if you have any other questions about the ALEX program or how to submit your work in Educator, then just let me know. But I wanted to make sure that I kind of walked you through it from the beginning, so that if you want to jump in and get started, you are welcome to do so. All right. Well, you know where to find me. I'll talk to you soon.